we have paint, and this is my new favourite tool. Back in 2020 I purchased this ratty old Datsun 1200 from St. Louis in the United States and shipped it back to New Zealand, and I've been restoring it ever since. It's been a race car since 1975 and it's lived a hard life. For such a small car it's been a big project, but after 4 years of hard slog, we have paint. So I've never actually painted a car before. This is a first for me, and it's in metallic, which is doubly difficult. Anyone who has ever restored a classic car knows how good it feels to finally get the paint on. So anyway, let me show you where we're at. So here's what we have. We've gone for a two-tone colour scheme of silver and metallic blue, as we're replicating one of this car's original paint schemes from the era when Ron Leonard raced it in the late 1970s and early 80s. The silver is a fairly generic PPG aluminium silver, but the blue is manufacturer colour. It's actually Jaguar opalescent silver blue, which is quite a classic colour seen on E-Type Jags and things, and I think it looks pretty good on this. This car in period did not wear a manufacturer blue, it actually wore a custom blue, but I just figured for the sake of doing paint touch-ups and things and being able to source paint for it, that it was better to go for a manufacturer colour. The car is very dusty. I went over the whole thing with 1200 grit wet sandpaper and then did about 4 passes with a polishing machine, which brings the paint up nice but makes one hell of a mess, so it's gone inside everywhere, and so I've got a lot of cleaning up to do yet. One thing I wanted to do with this car was to paint the B-pillar black, satin black, the same as the interior colour. Just to give the car a slightly cleaner look. I carried the black along the rear window frame here partially and also partially through the door. It's the same paint that I've used on the inside, and I carried it part way out of the door jambs, and the reason I wanted to do that was just because, you know, you're constantly climbing in and out here. It's easy to chip this paint or scratch it or rub it off, and so it just makes it a little bit easier to touch it up when that happens. We have a windscreen now as well, which I'm quite excited about, because in all the years that I've owned this car, about 4 years now, it's never actually had a windscreen, so that's been installed. I've also installed the dashboard. You might remember Nick Stewart from one of the earlier episodes on this channel did a fantastic job of replicating the original dash that was in this car. It's a pretty basic setup, just 3 gauges, and a rev counter was sitting on top. We're not quite there yet, but it is painted and it is installed. I painted it matte black as opposed to satin black, which is what the rest of the car interior is. Matte black, just so that there's no glare from the sun or anything, you know, on a sunny day. And once the paint goes on, that's when the fun begins, because that's when you can start putting parts back on again, and that's what I've been doing with these flares. So these are the original flares, which have been a bit of a pain in my ass. I widened them slightly. I added another 30mm to the front and 25mm to the back, and it sort of slightly deformed them, but they were pretty old and crusty anyway. They've been on this car since 1976, but I really wanted to retain them. And that is where this little guy here comes in. I bought this gun specifically to rivet these flares back on. In fact, this whole car has lots of rivets right the way through it. But each of these flares has about 27 or so rivets in them. So you want a decent gun that is both comfortable to use, which I've found this one here, it's got a really nice handle, and also oftentimes when you are punching the rivet in, the gun can jar like that and you can scratch your paint, and this one doesn't seem to do that. So I found it to be a good gun, and I've only done the flares on the left hand side so far. As you can see, the right side's still to be done. Still looks like a bit of a speedway car over the side, so that'll be a job for another day. So that's it for now. Still a lot more to do, but yeah, this is starting to get a bit of fun now, as opposed to being just a total grind, which it was when I was doing all the sanding and the various layers of primer and what have you, and a little bit of filler and stuff that has gone in. But anyway, that's the latest update on this little car. Hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll catch up with you next time. Cheers guys, bye.